Am I the a-hole for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat? Original post. I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend Matt, 27 male, for almost 2 years. His family is very close, and his mom in particular has always been a little possessive. I've tried not to make a big deal out of it, but it's clear she doesn't like that I take up his time, and she's made passive-aggressive comments like, "I hope I don't lose my son to some girl," even though we've been together for a while and I've made every effort to be kind and respectful to her. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I dressed up, got him a gift I knew he'd love, and was honestly looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed his mom had saved the seat right next to him for herself. That's fine, whatever. I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mom made a joke about how I always need to be next to Matt and said, "Let's see how you handle a little separation." Then she literally stood up, looked at me and said, "Scooch, sweetie," motioning for me to move down a seat so she could sit between us. Everyone at the table laughed, Matt included. I was so stunned I just quietly got up and moved. For about 5 minutes I sat there, feeling small and humiliated while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, "Actually, I think I'm gonna head out. Hope you have a great birthday, Matt." And I left. Matt blew up my phone later saying, I completely overreacted, embarrassed him in front of his family, and can't take a joke. His mom texted me a "sorry you were so sensitive" message, which just made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones, but it was his birthday dinner, so now I'm second-guessing everything. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. That's what your entire future with him and his mother will look like. Mama's boys are the worst partners. As someone who dated a mama's boy whose mom threatened to off herself if he didn't come home immediately and spend more time with her like he used to before getting a girlfriend, she literally had to be put on a psych watch. They definitely are the worst and never get better. "Sorry you were so sensitive" says it all, at least to me. She didn't acknowledge doing anything wrong. It's too bad that your boyfriend isn't looking out for you in this. Yeah, it's actually crazy he still hasn't spoken to me and it's been like 2 days. So I'm going to just drop his things off at his house and that's the end of this relationship. Not the a-hole. Have you ever talked to your boyfriend about his mother's behavior? If not, then he may see this pettiness on her part as a one-off. However, that doesn't fully excuse his reaction. Don't apologize to anyone. If you want to keep seeing your boyfriend, then talk to him about his mother. If he's receptive at all, then it might be worth working things out. If he refuses to hear or accept anything about his mother's behavior, then you might reconsider this relationship. Yes, it's been a history of her doing petty stuff like this. Well, now their history. Good riddance. Go on now and live your best life. We're all proud of your shiny spine. Update. So I dropped his stuff off and he tried to have a talk with me, and he was basically saying like, oh, his mom didn't mean any harm with a joke, and telling me to chill it out and that I'm being dramatic. I told him to go date his mom, since she is perfect and y'all understand each other's humor. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cancel my birthday trip because my boyfriend's mom planned a family dinner the same day? I, 20 female, planned a weekend getaway with 2 close friends for my birthday. I've had a rough year, and this trip was something I really looked forward to. It's nothing wild, just a cabin, some wine and hiking. I booked it over a month ago and told my boyfriend, 23 male, right away. He said it sounded fun and was happy for me. A few days ago, his mom decided to host a family dinner on the same weekend. She didn't ask about our plans, just texted the whole family like, dinner at our place Saturday night. Everyone expected. My boyfriend asked if I could cancel the trip or at least come back early so I could attend. I told him no. It's my birthday. I made the plans first and I wasn't going to cut it short for something his mom planned last minute. He got really quiet and said I was being disrespectful to his family and choosing friends over people who really care. Now he's distant. And his sister texted me something like, it's not that hard to show up for family. I don't hate his family at all, but this felt unfair. Am I the a-hole for sticking to my birthday plans? Absolutely not the a-hole. You planned this trip well in advance, and it's your birthday, a celebration you deserve, especially after a tough year. His mom's last-minute dinner doesn't automatically override your existing plans, and it's unfair for them to frame this as some kind of loyalty test. The real issue here is the lack of respect for your time and the guilt-tripping. Your boyfriend had no problem with the trip when you first told him, but suddenly you're disrespectful for not dropping everything? That's a double standard. If family time was so non-negotiable, he could have told his mom, "Hey, OP already has birthday plans that weekend. Can we adjust?" Instead, he's making you the villain for sticking to commitments? Stand your ground. Healthy relationships don't demand you cancel meaningful plans to cater to someone else's poor scheduling. And if his family really cares, they'd understand that birthdays and boundaries matter too. Enjoy your trip guilt-free. Wow, thank you for this. You put into words exactly what I've been feeling but couldn't explain. It really did feel like a loyalty test, and the fact that he flipped after being totally fine with it just confuses me even more. I really appreciate you validating that boundaries matter. Not the a-hole. This is a power play. Your boyfriend and his mom wants to ensure that you're an easy-to-manipulate pushover who would throw away meaningful plans for a run-of-the-mill dinner just because they asked. Mom didn't even ask. She said everyone expected. And apparently her adult children think that means OP should just drop her plans because mom says so. Nope, not the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not waiting for my stepkids to be with us before doing something with my biological children? I have 2 children, 4 and 2, with my husband and 2 stepkids, 10 and 9 from his prior marriage. My husband and his ex-wife share physical and legal custody and have equal parenting time of their children. So my stepkids are with us every other week. For a while now, my stepkids have been acting up when I'm left in charge. They're pushing far more boundaries. They tell me I'm not their mom repeatedly if I'm the only one around. Their behavior in public when I go anywhere with them alone is worse, and they won't listen if it's me talking to them. My husband is addressing this, but his ex sees no issue with them not listening to me. She has told him she does not care, so it's entirely on us to address it, and finding the right solution is taking time. My stepkids' behavior is something my sister-in-law has latched onto, and she's accusing me of punishing them in unfair ways because of their behavior. And why is this? Because I do fun things with my kids, take them places, on days my stepkids are with their mom. I took my kids to a book fair that was running, and we had a good day. I've taken them shopping to let them pick out a new toy or plushie. Or we'd go to events at the library or to a movie. Those kinds of things that I do are now being questioned. Sister-in-law does not think I should be doing most of that when my stepkids are with their mom. And she said she feels I'm doing it as a way of punishing them for acting out on me when they don't with anyone else. She said it looks like I want to exclude them. My husband told her she was crazy and that life can't stop every other week because the kids aren't here. She told him it seems like I'm living it up with my real kids when the fake ones are with their real mom. I told her we do things with my stepkids all the time, that all I'm doing is making sure the weeks they're not here aren't spent waiting around for them. She asked why that would be a bad thing, and I said it's because there are 2 other kids to think about. I told her she never said anything before. She said she's increasingly bothered by it because she sees the kids' behavior getting worse and believes it's my way of punishing them. She asked me why I can't wait to do any big-ish stuff for when my stepkids are here. My husband told her to shut up, and sister-in-law said we were in denial and I should really think about this. I want to check because she has planted some doubt in my head about this. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. If any kids can't behave themselves in public, then I'm not taking them out somewhere. Going to the movies or something fun is a privilege, not a right. Not the a-hole. Your kids deserve experiences regardless of custody schedules. You're not punishing anyone by living life. Not the a-hole. Your kids shouldn't miss out just because the stepkids aren't there. You're not punishing anyone. You're just living your life and being a parent. Sister-in-law is way out of line. She told him it seems like I'm living it up with my real kids when the fake ones are with their real mom. Taking your kids to a book fair is living it up? It's not Disney World. Does their bio mom not take them places? And if sister-in-law thinks the kids are deprived of living it up, why doesn't she take a weekend off to take them to extravagant, likely free outings like, say, the dog park? Oi, you are not the a-hole. She does. But sister-in-law believes that's different because my bios are nothing to her, meaning my husband's ex is nothing to my bios, not sister-in-law herself. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my fiancé's sister out of my wedding? I, 32 female, have never had a good relationship with my mother. She was very emotionally and verbally abusive to me when I was a kid. She's a very mean person, and when I left for college at 18, I went no contact with her. It was best for me to distance myself from her, and it worked for me. When I met my fiancé John 35 years ago, he knew all about my relationship with my mom and that I was no contact with her. He always respected my boundaries and never pushed for me to have a relationship with her, even when I was pregnant with our daughter too. When I got engaged, I made his sister Stacy my maid of honor because we had a very close relationship, or so I thought. Last Sunday, I was going over the guest list with her and coming up with a seating chart for the reception. I never said anything about where my mother would be sitting because she wasn't invited, and I think that caught her off guard because she asked where my mother would be sitting. I told her that my mother wasn't invited because we don't talk, and I really don't want her at the wedding. She got quiet but didn't argue with me, and we moved on from there. A few days passed, and I got a call from a number I didn't know. I didn't answer and hung up, but the number called again, so I answered. My heart dropped when I heard my mother's voice. She was crying through the phone, asking me why she didn't know I was getting married. I was honest with her. I told her that she didn't need to know because of how she treated me throughout my childhood. I had to go to therapy to undo the damage she did to me, and I'm still not completely healed from it. I made a choice going no contact with her, and I would like to keep it that way. She told me it was unfair that I was holding what she did years ago against her, and she hoped we could talk when she comes down for the wedding. I told her that wasn't necessary because she wasn't invited. She started crying, asking me why I sent her an invitation to the wedding if I didn't actually want her there. I told her that I didn't, so I don't know how she got one, but it wasn't from me. She said nothing else and hung up the phone. When John got home with Stacy, I asked him why I sent an invitation to my mother when I told him I didn't want her there. He was confused and said he didn't, but I told him someone did because she has one. That's when Stacy stepped in and told me she was the one who sent out the invitation because she thought that if I saw my mother at the wedding, I would realize how important it was to have her there for me. Now Stacy knows what I have been through with my mom and why I didn't want her at my wedding. She knows that my relationship with her is not good, and her going behind my back to invite someone to my wedding that I don't get along with felt like a huge act of betrayal. I snapped at her and kicked her out of the wedding party because I refused to have someone there who didn't respect my boundaries and invited people I didn't like without my permission. She immediately started crying to John, telling him that I couldn't do this and to stop me from kicking her out of the wedding. He was quick to take my side and completely banned her from the wedding. She was fuming mad and left without saying a word. I got calls all Thursday and Friday from John's family, telling me that I was the a-hole for making John ban his sister from the wedding. His mom actually told me that what she did wasn't even that big of a deal, and that I needed to stop acting like a petty baby over something that happened to me years ago. I told her if she felt that way, she didn't have to come to the wedding either, before hanging up on her. This whole thing has been a mess, and it's making me feel guilty, but John has reassured me that I did nothing wrong and have nothing to feel guilty about. I want to believe him, but I can't help but feel like I might have overreacted a bit. So, am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole. Bridezilla much? Your wedding? Not our wedding? It seems to me that Stacy is the only one with common sense. If you told her your trauma, she probably thought it wasn't as bad as you think. Seriously, you seem to have shut out your mother for nothing. At 18, you were an idiot, not an adult. Definitely not a responsible adult. Running away and going no contact is always a coward's way out. And the fact that Stacy deemed it okay to invite your mother lets me know all I need to know about you and your undeveloped mindset. Also, your boyfriend/fiancé/husband is just a pushover. Probably happy someone is touching him, and at that, won't go against your wishes. Don't count him as a responsible party. I pray CPS takes away your child, and hopefully they have a decent chance at life without contact from either of you. I went no contact with my mother because she was very emotionally and verbally abusive toward me. Why should I stay in contact with someone and have them at my wedding when all they have done is hurt me? My mother has never once tried to reach out and apologize for what she has done, and at this point in my life, I don't need an apology from her. Things would have been different if she even tried, but she never did. So I always figured that we were both better off without each other in our lives. Also, my daughter won't do what I did to my mother, because I would never treat her the way my mother treated me. Have the day you deserve. Not the a-hole. Out of the wedding, out of your life. Right? You don't get to betray someone like that and still expect to stand next to them on their wedding day. She invited the one person OP needed space from. She's lucky getting kicked out was all that happened. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife's friend's boyfriend she was cheating? I'm gonna start this off with a list of the people involved. Wife, Amanda. My best friend, Connor. Wife's friend and coworker, Hannah. Hannah's boyfriend, Caleb. So this all started about a week and a half ago. Connor came up and visited me and my wife. He lives in our hometown, and we live 3 hours away, so we rarely see each other. He was staying with us for the weekend. While he was here, Hannah and Caleb had an argument, and she wanted to get out of the house, so she drove to our place to have some space. While she was at our house, she told us that she was done with him and planned on leaving him. Connor, who I will admit is a bit of a flirt and was pretty tipsy, took advantage of this and was flirting with her, and she was completely into him. They ended up exchanging phone numbers and started talking every day, texting, FaceTiming, etc., and they were hitting it off really well. After 5 days of this, Hannah texted Amanda and told her that she couldn't leave Caleb because she didn't want to hurt him, but she planned on still talking to and even hanging out with Connor behind Caleb's back because she had grown strong feelings for him. Obviously, Amanda told me because Connor is my best friend and has been since elementary school. I told Connor the situation, and he was upset because he had grown feelings for her and was looking forward to being more than just a side piece. His words, lol. The next day, I told my wife that since Hannah wasn't actually leaving Caleb, he needed to know what was happening and what she was doing and planned to keep doing, and she agreed. So I sent him a pretty long message, including screenshots of what Hannah told my wife. Caleb was understandably upset. I apologized and told him that I knew it was happening, but we were all under the impression that she was leaving him. He assured me that it wasn't my or anyone else's fault. That night, Caleb and Hannah talked it out and are still together. But Hannah says she can never forgive me and she never wants to hang out with Amanda if I'm going to be there. She told Amanda I'm a huge piece of crap and that none of it was my business and I needed to mind my own. Obviously, my wife is on my side, but now her work life is stressful because Hannah only wants to talk badly about me and Connor for what we did. I know that it's not my relationship, and I probably should have minded my business, but at the same time, if I were in Caleb's shoes, I would want to know. So, am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your wife needs to reevaluate her friendship. Believe me, she is. She told her that if she wants to talk bad about me, their relationship will be strictly co-workers. Tell your wife when Hannah tries to badmouth anyone, your wife should remind Hannah who it was that wanted to cheat on her boyfriend. Make sure everyone at work is told, so they realize Hannah is upset because her cheating was exposed. Not the a-hole. Your wife needs to take this up with HR, because Hannah is creating a hostile work environment for her. My wife is the manager, so if bad comes to worse, she told her she'd fire her.